Hello everybody, Anish Majumdar here, career coach to the fiercely ambitious, and I want to focus this video around a topic that each and every one of us should be aware of, okay? And that is my career in the midst of a stall out? And specifically, what should I be looking for? What are the warning signs of this happening so that I can start making moves proactively before, everything just kind of falls apart. I'm sure for those of us who've been in the workforce, we've had our adventures, we know what it's like to be taken by surprise, right? It's not a fun thing. And you shouldn't treat your career that way. You should treat it with a greater degree of deliberation. And so I want to just go over a couple of big reasons and a couple of big ways of thinking that you should be on the lookout for that will tip you off, okay? If you already feel like, oh yeah, it's stalling out, I'm getting the hell out of here, this will only validate it. But for many of you, especially those of you who have gotten especially comfortable where you are, maybe a little too comfortable, I really want your eyes and ears right now because this is really important stuff we're talking about. Okay, so number one, the biggest reason, okay? I want you to write these down and I want you to honestly ask yourself this. No corporate BS, no over analytically, justified reasons, from the heart. Number one, have you stopped growing? If you're at a role right now and the rule of thumb is basically somewhere around 30%, if 30% of your job is not something where you're like, ooh boy, I don't know if I can do this, you're not growing fast enough. Now, many people will look at the company entire and say if the company itself is not growing at a certain pace, it's unlikely that my role is going to have enough new there. But I would just say, in terms of the job that you currently have, really, really ask yourself this. If you were to, and writing it down would be the best way, okay? If you were to look at all of your tasks on a week-by-week basis, how many of these are ones that I can do a great job? I don't even have to cognitively stretch myself here. And how much of it falls into the realm of the new? How much new territory are you exploring? How many new people outside of the current people that you're collaborating with the company, how much are you having to stretch yourself to build new relationships, both internally and externally? How quickly is your skill set advancing? Or are you just relying on the same tricks that you used to get in here in the first place? How much growth is built into this opportunity? It's absolutely critical that you ask yourself that and that you keep asking yourself that, because sometimes you'll go into a role and just naturally the learning curve of getting up to speed feels like that. It makes sense. But once that's gone, a big reason why many professionals, their performance takes a hit in year two is because that learning curve is now gone. And now preliminarily, most of what they're doing falls within the wheelhouse of what they know. You're not going to grow that way. You're not going to develop that way. And as Kobe Bryant, the awesome Kobe Bryant said once, there's something special, and I'm paraphrasing here, there's something special that comes out of you when you're contemplating a challenge that has real risk in it, a real risk of failure. Your best comes out, your best ideas, your best follow through, your best discipline. And if it's been a long time since you felt that at your current job, that should be a ringing bell that it is time to move on and upgrade, okay? Here's number two, okay? If I were to take your job title, let's say it's senior project manager, and I were to call you that, I would say, hey, what's going on? First name, senior project manager. Is there something in you that sort of chafes when I ask you that? There was a time when, early on in my career, where I was writing cover letters and I was doing some really limited amounts of work there. And people, would see the results from that and say, oh, he's a cover letter writer. Oh, he's a resume writer. And for a while that was okay. And then it started really not being okay. And I didn't know why. Because those were the things that I was doing at the time. Why would I get upset by someone accurately reading it out? And it took some soul searching to realize at the best of what I did, that is these words, resume writing, cover letter, senior project manager, IT manager, they're poor substitutes for the best of what I did. at the best of what I did, I was able to get people free and start teaching them a way to generate career opportunities on demand, on their own steam, without any of the crap of recruiters, hiring agents, and the rest. So those words weren't doing it for me. But it started with that thing. I feel uncomfortable here. That's not me. It irritates me when people call me that. Be on the lookout for that. That is usually a sign that the bottom line impact of what you do is not being properly tapped into at your role. And also, you need to do a little bit of soul searching, a little bit of fleshing out to understand, okay, what is my true impact? Free of my current title, free of my current responsibilities, if I had to write down like the top 20 or 30 ways in which I make any company better, stronger, more profitable, faster, more supportive of its people, write it all down. Write it all down right now. Just reframe it and ask yourself how much of those big things are being tapped into in your current role. That's a major, major reason for dissatisfaction. And if it's not dealt with fast enough, a career stall out. No one likes to be in a position. And trust me, I've worked with over 1,600 people at this point. And I've seen the people who made this deal with the devil. The people who knew they had gone past the level that they were at significantly a long time ago. But hey, the money's okay. And the things are cooking, things are moving along, and so I'm not going to ask. It just breeds resentment, it breeds a kind of anger and dissatisfaction that is really, really, really poisonous in terms of where you want to go next, okay? So that's number 2. Number 3, if you're out there and you're going out for the roles that you, quote unquote, are right for, or you feel that you're right for, and you keep going up against the dreaded O word, overqualified, that is, that's another big sign, okay? That's another big sign that you need to set your sights higher. You need to set sure it's bigger, because it's not always just funky employers who are coming up with that. Sometimes, it takes someone who is looking at your journey from the outside or being introduced to it for the first time to look at it and say, man, this person has exceeded this level years ago. I don't know what they're still doing this. Do they have like a confidence issue, or what am I not seeing? Is there a red flag that I'm not seeing in this person's history? Right? It comes out in a lot of different ways, but really, if you're getting the vibe, or you're just flat out being asked, why would you be interested in this role? It seems like you've been doing this for a while. What specifically would you be interested in here? We just think that you're overqualified for this position. If you're getting that more than once, that's usually a sign you need to look long and hard about whether what you're chasing right now in your career is the right move upwards or the easy move, what I've been doing. And this is a big problem. This has no safety in it. And like I said, you might say, well, the newness of doing what I already do in a new company, early stage instead of late stage or whatever, that's a difference. Yeah. And that'll, serve you in good stead for a little while. But then you're back to square one, and you're back to dealing with the same scarcity, aggravation, chafing that we've been talking about. So getting that O word thrown at you is a big, big reason, okay? Here's the last one, and it's arguably the most important, okay? Is there a genuine calling in your heart to do more and be more? And I know that that's, very far away, right, from this idea of, well, okay, I got to be able to, see it. I got to be able to like have some metrics and KPIs and stuff, right, in order to do it. But this one is not about that. Is there something in you that has been calling you to raise your game of what you're capable of for a long time now? That alone should be a reason for you to seriously consider making a big move. If you're in a limiting role, get the hell out of there. If you're in a job search and it's not going well, set your targets higher. Think about doing differently. Wherever you are, I want you to know that the big pitfall, the one that, the corporate interest that you want no part of will try to tell you you're delusional for. In all of the years that I've been a career coach, I have never come across someone who has had that calling in their heart. And I don't mean in a delusional way, like someone's like, in college has no experience, I just need more. No, I don't mean that. If you've been in the workforce for a while, if you do good work, if you're someone who has integrity, and you've been feeling this calling, it's usually coming from a place where your heart knows something that your mind hasn't yet gotten to. Your heart has put the pieces together and has come to a certain conclusion, which is you've got to go bigger. You've got to go bolder. You've got to explore how to maximize your impact, how to maximize your compensation, how to maximize your reach and impact. It's coming from a place where it's trying to clue you in. And if you were to lean into that, if you were to bring everything you had, your intelligence, your guts, your passion, your desire to serve, but not just, amazing people, but your family, your loved ones. If it's coming from that, it's genuinely and most probably a real thing. And it deserves for you to seriously consider and make the moves that back it up. So, 4 important points. Have you stopped growing? Look for that 30% minimum number at any role that you are in. If that's not there, that's a problem. Do you chafe when people call you by your job title? That's a big warning sign, okay? Do you continuously get hit when you are exploring new roles with the overqualified label or stamp? That's another big clue. And then finally, have you had this calling inside of yourself to have a greater level of impact for a long period of time? These are 4 very, very, very important criteria you should really keep at the forefront of your mind, because it'll help you intelligently evaluate the road forward and make those right moves. Now, if you need more help with that, I strongly encourage you to go over to helloanish.com right now. That's HELLOANISH.com. I've synced up an all-new masterclass on how to land your dream job during disruptive times that is going to teach you exactly the shifts that I and my team lead our masterminders through that gets them out of the job seeker trap in a period of weeks and gets them into a place where they're calling the shots, they're generating their own opportunities, and no, they are not wasting 1 second waiting for permission or a go-ahead from some recruiter or HR or other gatekeeper. That approach never really worked, but right now in our time, forget about it. Don't even think about it. Being a traditional job seeker is the worst thing that you can do, okay? So if you have that calling, I encourage you to go over there right now, helloanish.com, take that class, make it a priority, have a notepad, have a pen next to you, because there's going to be some teaching going on actively right there, and learn this stuff and make those moves. But get yourself out of this trap, because we all have less time than we think. When we look by the stats, 1 in 3 of us are going to be taken out by some kind of unexpected injury, life event, way before our planned retirement time. So I really want you to bring that level of urgency to this and ask yourself, what can I do today to turn this stall back into a rocket ship to the moon? Because if you're taking this class and you're taking this training right now, believe me when I tell you there is something special already cooking in you, and that deserves to be treated for the sacred thing that it is. All right, everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful time. I hope you learned something today. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Stay in touch with me so that you can keep getting these hopefully valuable nuggets of information that you're not going to get anywhere else. Keep plugging, stay ambitious, and get it done. All right, I'll talk to each and every one soon. Bye-bye.